Hi guys, so I did a recent YouTube video and I talked a little bit about the SCD diet, and I'm excited today because I've been looking at more research. I'd mentioned the Seattle Children's Hospital research in that post, but now I found out that the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, CCFA, is going to do a research study on this. That they received like a $2 million grant last year to do a research study on the specific carbohydrate diet and the Mediterranean diet. And the reason I'm so excited is because I've been following the diet for 7 years with little to no support and even awareness. No one has any idea what the specific carbohydrate diet is, and it's been around for over 50 years. I don't know how far it goes back. It was a version of it was done by a Dr. Haas, that's H-A-A-S, and then Elaine Gottschall went to nutrition school after it helped her daughter, or went back to school to study nutrition, and developed it into what's called the specific carbohydrate diet. And there's a lot of people following it nationally. There's a lot of national support groups. There's especially none local for me in Mississippi, and we're a pretty spread out group. So little to no support for 7 years, and finally the medical community is taking notice because it's helping the patients that it is, and who have decided to try it without evidence. And hopefully we're going to create that evidence now. The Seattle Children's Hospital has had small successful studies of inducing remission and taking away symptoms and changing the gut flora. Or there's been some other studies and they've had one or so. So they're doing one again, I think. And then the Massachusetts General Hospital, one of the top 5 hospitals in the state, is doing research, and it looks like the University of North Carolina or something in Pennsylvania are doing a study, a collaborative study, and you can find all this information on clinicaltrials.gov. But I'm most excited about the CCFA study because they've really taken a stance in recent years that diet will not help you, or just don't eat what bothers you. And that's just that advice is too general. It's not going to help someone, and just eat healthy isn't going to help someone either. So anyway, anytime I've mentioned, or any of the people I know are on the diet have mentioned the SCD diet on a Crohn's and Colitis Foundation group, or some other IBD awareness support group besides our SCD groups, we've really had a lot of backlash. People would attack us and delete us from these groups. My phone almost died for a second. Anyway, or gave me an alert, but anyway, they would delete us from these groups, and we still posted sometimes just so someone would get the information. But now we have support, and that's really important because this diet's been kind of lonely. But because I've been on it for 7 years, I've been in remission for 7 years. Before that, I was severely ill for 8. You can find out more about that in the previous video, my 7-year health journey. But anyway, it's pretty crazy. I've always hoped that if I kept sharing it online that it would help others, and now it can help more people. I especially didn't expect it to reach Mississippi anytime soon, but now I think it will with these research studies, and we won't know until it's done whether or not the CCFA does support it. I just want to say that it does help some, and the research is promising so far, the small studies. So I'm starting a Mississippi IBD and SCD support group in yeah, in my area, because people aren't going to stick to this diet unless they're supported. Like I said, it's lonely and it's strict, but it's worth it if you get your life back like I did and your health back. It's just overall exciting because you can't really back up what you're trying to explain to people without the research, and now it's coming. So anyway, some people just have refused to listen in the past that diet can help, and they've been insulted if you mention diet, and I think people sometimes, not in all cases, sometimes we really don't want to take any responsibility. And I'm not saying that, I mean, it's not our faults that we have to, if this diet works for us, that we have to eat this diet to be healthy. I mean, we don't know why this, you know, is the only solution for us and for people like me. And not everyone else does. I have to work harder on my health than anyone else I know. You know, but that's because no one else really does this, especially not in my area. But I think health and I don't know, I think it's important to be your own advocate, and if there is dietary support, it's going to take a lot of willpower and strength to stick to something like this, especially when there's not really any viable convenience food out there, restaurant food, which me and hubby have started a cottage foods business to sell specific carbohydrate diet treats. And that being said, you don't have to go without, because you can make a recipe. This diet has been around for so long now, probably almost a century with Dr. Haas's work, that there are so many blogs and recipes online. And once you learn to cook, like when I started this diet, I microwaved food all the time. I ate the worst food and didn't know how to cook. So I taught myself to cook on this diet, started following recipes. Eventually I learned, and then I learned how to create my own based on what I'd used before and knowing how it worked in things. So I recreate unhealthy food from healthy recipes. So anyway, this is definitely a resource, a tool in our toolbox to manage inflammatory bowel disease, the celiac, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, even IBS. So it's not a cure, obviously, because if I go back to eating the old way, I'm going to get the old symptoms and the problems. So anytime I do cheat on this diet, because of course I have, I've gotten terrible IBS symptoms, and the more you do it and the longer you do it, the worse they get. And so you go back on the diet for relief, and voila, no more symptoms. At least that's in my case. It won't work. It'll work in varying degrees for different people. So that's just something to think about too. And I think the earlier you start this diet, the better, obviously, before you accumulate too much damage. I have had one resection and a colostomy for a couple of months. But anyway, that was back before I started the diet. That was my breaking point. And that's when I found this diet online and decided to try it cold turkey, quit everything I loved. Food, and changed because I really wanted to see if it worked. Read so many good things, and I didn't need support. I've always been independent, but even saying that, it's lonely. At some points it will get that way without support. So anyway, with this Mississippi IBD health support group, I want to do a cooking class per month and a like discussion class, I guess, and, you know, read the book together, cook together, do some meal prep together, and provide cottage foods, or provide, that's just the type of business, but provide treats to people if they would like. So I'm also a certified health coach, and because I've worked so closely on GI issues with myself, I really enjoy helping people with their GI issues. But I really feel called to do some nonprofit work, to create something like that, and of course these groups, support groups, is all just open to the public, free, and I just want to use my health coaching education to help create the group and make it successful and successfully help people. So, but Bryant Foods is for profit, while we're selling the food right now and things like that, but we may even create some kind of, we may even involve that in the nonprofit in the future too. So anyway, my cat Jake just walked up behind me. So, I guess that's all for now. You can find the Mississippi IBD and SCD support group online, but it's only for Mississippi, especially best for this area, Jackson, Flowood area. But there are plenty of national support groups. Hi, Jake. There are plenty of national support groups online for you to find and join for support if you live somewhere else. I recently sent 2 emails to doctors in my area. I'm hoping to reach out and share that research and support with as many people as possible. And so if you know someone, anyway, like I said, usually if you tell someone about a diet, it's not going to be well received. But now, you know, if you do it in a very open-minded way, open-ended way, polite way, and just say like, hey, take a look at this research. Like I said, go to clinicaltrials.gov and type in Crohn's disease, and then in the second box type in specific carbohydrate diet. You'll find the studies. You can go to ccfa.org and find the study. I can comment the links to share, but just share them in an open-ended way. And like I said, it's not a cure, but it's a management tool. It may be a solution. And it may be possible that it can induce remission and maintain remission and at least provide great relief, even if you're not 100%. It can bring some normalness back to your life if you don't focus on having to cook everything at home and things like that for the most part. You know, if you focus on the fact that you're healthy and that you're getting to go out with your friends all the time and do recreational stuff that you weren't able to do before, and work and things like that, if you focus on that, if it works for you, because it won't work for everyone, there's different complications and issues, but if it works, it gives you your life back, and I'm okay with cooking if it gives me my life back. And anyway, that's just one way to think about it, because I know strict diets can sometimes be stressful, but it all depends on your perspective. So if you're interested, if you're in Mississippi, just find our group, the Mississippi IBD and SCD support group. All right, have a good one.